It did become exhilarating. It was exciting. It was something new. It was, wow, we can make money from this. Imagine stopping working altogether and just doing this.
Right,
That
right,
would be fantastic. And I'm
right.
sure many people listening into this right now can relate to that sort of feeling of that hope and that expectation. And this is what can
Exactly.
happen. Yeah.
What was the first? Do you still remember the first trade you ever made?
Yeah, I remember about it. I can't tell you the company. For many, many years, I did remember the stock because I used to tell the story, and I've actually now completely forgotten that stock. What I will tell you is that decision was just, it was just silly. Like, I remember my wife and I on the phone talking about this stock for way too long. Neither of us knew the right questions to ask each other. Neither of us knew what to talk about. We just thought, we both came to this conclusion that, well, if we don't buy this one, then we've got to start this process all over again and try to find another stock. This is the easy thing to do.
It's like I shopped for this pair of pants. I'm just buying it. I don't care if it looks good, right?
Yeah, and as that's a great analogy, and it's almost as silly as that. It's like, why would we want to go through this effort again? This is easy. Let's just do it. We can check
Right.
that box. We've now taken our first trade. Yeah, it was a little bit silly. We didn't even know why. It sort of popped up in a forum, or maybe we heard it in the traders group we went to 2 nights
Right.
earlier. We thought, now's the time. Here is a stock. We could pick another 2,000, but let's grab this one.
So what were you doing at that time, like professionally? It was this sort of like, you said, oh, I have a little bit of spare money. Maybe I should get interested in the stock market, this fandangle thing, and see how it goes. Is that how it went for you?
Yeah, precisely. So what was I doing professionally? I was in the army full time. I was an army officer,
Hmm.
a captain at the time. In fact, I was just about to, not knowing this at the time, but I was just about to spend the next 2 years in the United States on exchange as an instructor. But at that time, I was full time in the army, and
That's
it's exactly what you just described. It's my wife and I have now saved up some money, and what do we do?
right.
And we saw a licensed advisor who suggested, well, you are quite young, you can afford to take risk.
Right.
I suggest you buy some stock. And we
Right.
go, oh, stock. Okay, I think we know what that is, but like there's a lot. Like, which one do you buy, or which ones do you buy? But that whetted the appetite. That was, let's
Sure.
not leave this in the bank. Let's do something with it. Let's be a bit more active. And that really was the initial idea to get
Yeah.
into stocks. Was,
And
we've
then
got some money. What do we do?
right, once you made that first trade, did that just sort of whet the appetite for financial markets? You were like, okay, this is really interesting. Like the idea of making money from money is intoxicating in some ways, right?
Spot on. Absolutely, it is. And it became a little bit exhilarating. And it shouldn't have become exhilarating, but this
Right,
is a first time thing. And we know exhilaration and emotion, all that
right,
stuff. But it did become exhilarating. It was exciting. It was something new. It was, wow, we can make money from this. Imagine stopping working altogether and just doing this.
right,
That
right,
would be fantastic. And I'm
right.
sure many people listening into this right now can relate to that sort of feeling of that hope and that expectation. And this is what can
Exactly.
happen. Mm.
You know what I find is really ironic is that we teach people all the time, don't get emotional. This should be boring. This is the same as making donuts. If you're excited about this job, this shouldn't be the job. Yet, in order to get people into this vocation, it has to be exciting. Like the point is, nobody gets excited saying, "Oh, I want to be a dentist for the rest of my life, drilling holes because that's a very, very steady income. That's how I should be trading." No, everybody's like, the reason people get excited about this is precisely because it's completely different from every other um, professional job that you could have. But it's ironic, we have to have that feeling of intoxication, which we then stomp out of ourselves constantly because it's really the single biggest barrier to success in the long run. I just think it just came to me. I thought it was very ironic about trading.
And it is, you're right. I mean, we have to get excited initially to actually put in the effort and
Right,
immerse ourselves in this new endeavor and profession to try to learn and become skillful and experienced. And we need that passion and that emotion. And we are people after all, and emotions are very much part of our fabric. And it's very difficult to flick a switch and turn all that off. But you're right. We
yeah,
know after a certain period of time, we realize, you know what, I think this emotion thing is getting in my way. I think
right,
it's I think it's becoming a problem. And yet it
Yeah.
was that sort of emotion initially that got us into this. And then we have to maybe change our
Right.
thinking altogether and try to remove that emotion as much as we can.